at UITM also marks the inaugural online joint class. Now we are here with two excellent speakers, technologist Dr. Nur Faizah Mohfahme as UITM lecturer, and we have also Dr. Riky Siswanto as Telkom University lecturer. And then today, let's give our fully attention to the topic on design class for session 1 that is going to be explained by Ms. Nur Faizah Mohfahme as well as by Dr. Riky Siswanto. This online joint class is a collaborative program between Telkom University Indonesia and University Teknologi Mara or UITM Malaysia. My name is Asri Hidawati from International Office of Telkom University, and I will be the chairperson for our OJC today. Let us extend our deepest gratitude and also appreciation for our presence today. On this occasion, technologist Dr. Nur Faizah Mohfahme as a lecturer from UITM Malaysia, as well as Dr. Riky Siswanto from TELU as a lecturer, will explain further about design class for session 1. Yeah. And I'd like to also send the warmest greeting to all students from Telkom University, all students from University Teknologi Mara Malaysia or UITM, and all beloved students coming to this online joint class. Yeah, design class for session 1 as a collaborative program between TELU and UITM. During the online class or OJC today, I hope all students and participants can turn on the video during the explanation from two excellent speakers. And on this OJC, there will be also a forum of question and answers and also discussion so that students may leave or drop questions in the chat box of Zoom. Or you could also turn your microphone on to directly ask the distinguished speaker today, Ms. Faizah and Pak Riky. And at the end of this OJC design class for session 1, corporate design and graphic design issues, there will be also a photo session and the closing one. So please turn on your camera when you have the photo session later, yeah? We also need to remind you all to mute your microphone while you are listening to the presentation. And at the end of the meeting, remember also to share your thoughts by filling out the feedback link. And yeah, for this online joint class, of course. So you just need to click the feedback link later. So we're going to share the feedback link, yeah, through this online meet or Zoom meet. Yeah. So next we are about to listen to Ms. Faizah, probably as the first speaker, ya Pak Riky. Okay. To explain the material on design class for session 1 here. So without further ado, let's listen carefully to Dr. Faizah explanation. So Ms. Faizah, time and this online stage is yours. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Okay, give me a sec. Let me share the screen here.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, it's visible, Miss.
Okay. All right. So, Assalamualaikum, and thank you to Telkom U for this opportunity in collaborating both graphic design class, okay, I can say. All right. To have this online joint class is one of the huge opportunity, not only for our site, but also for Telkom U. So today, as been introduced by the Honorable moderator, okay, Bu Asri di situ. Okay, I am going to share a topic of creative strategy, which concentrating on implementation and also evaluation. So when we talk about graphic design, we are assured that every single thing that we are going to produce need to be strategized, need to be thought of and discussed. So there are several topics that we are going to look after today, which is first, of course, the introduction of creative strategy. What are the elements of creative strategy? How does it going to be implemented? And how are we going to evaluate the thing? And one case studies that we can have a look on that. Okay, and finally, the challenges in implementation and also evaluation. So the objective of it is to ensure that every one of us over here, we able to develop and articulate this creative strategy. And at the same time, once we have developed, of course, we are looking forward on analyzing and evaluating the design effectiveness and finally execute the design project based on what has been strategized. Okay, so talking about that, I am sure that everyone knows and understand what is creative strategies. It is actually referring to something that has been structured, okay, every single thing that we planned, okay, but it is guided by one creative process, which this creative process is our reference, okay. We refer to this creative process so that every single thing that we plan is being structured, okay. So it is also compasses the understanding of the target audience, the definition of the core message, and also the selection of appropriate visual elements. So without these three main points that I have mentioned just now, the target audience, of course, the core message, our target or our objective of sending or producing the artwork, and finally choosing the right visual element, our design or our final artwork will not be able to communicate to the targeted audience effectively, meaning that it should be well strategized, well planned in order for us to achieve the objective of us creating the subject matter or creating the product design. Okay, so the importance in graphic design that we need to ensure is that every single thing that we design or every single thing that we structured and also plan, it should be aligned with the brand identity. Okay, and then we have to make sure that it is audience resonance, and then it's also streamlining the design process, and finally it fosters innovation. All right, so that the things that we create, it has the novelty of it. Okay, we do not create based on what people have done. Maksudnya, we do not have any plagiarism. We do not copy and paste from other people's artwork. So that is very important. But we may choose those references for us to refer to, not we choose references for us to copy and paste and make it our own brand. Okay, that is a no-no, okay? But I am sure that not only students, but designers out there, they do like kerja, not to say kerja mudah, but then especially when it comes to vectors, okay, we need it fast. And then we take this opportunity to just download from AI and then we just paste it and become our own artwork. So it's I can say that it is not suitable to be done like that, because when it comes to novelty, everyone have to ensure that, hey, this is mine, this is my own artwork, this is what I have created, even though the vectors that has been created is quite tough, but then that is mine. You need to ensure that it is supposed to be done like that. Okay, you may choose or you may use or you may refer to AI, but that is a guideline or guidance for you to create your own artwork. Okay, so these are the elements of creative strategies that we may concentrate on, where there are 6 key points. Okay, the first one is, of course, the target audience. Without you knowing the target audience, we may not be able to create whatever designs that has been proposed. Okay, and then brand messaging, ideation and concept development, and we are focusing on visual identity, competitive analysis, and also the objective and goals. So talking about the target audience, okay, we need to make sure that we know the specific people or specific group. Okay, by then, not only the target audience that we have to know, but also we need to understand what are the targeted markets. Okay, so that in between that, kita tahu yang mana we want to concentrate on youth. But then what kind of youth that we are selecting, their lifestyle, their way of representing themselves, what kind of restaurants did they go to have their lunch, all those kind of things we need to refer to. Unless or else, okay, you may not be able to achieve the last point over here. This one. Okay. Okay, the last point over here, the objective and also goals. Okay, this one. All right. So the second one is branding message. When we talk about branding message, you need to ensure that you understand what you want to convey. Okay, that is why you need to make sure that whatever things that you want to deliver, you need to ask back the brand. Okay, what is their main vision? What is their main mission? Okay, what is the product all about? So these are the components that you need to consider. The first one is, of course, the brand voice. Any USPs that they have. So you cannot create any branding without referring to the USP. You cannot create any branding or brand design without concentrating on their mission. Okay, because why? If let's say you know that the targeted audience is toddlers, you are creating kindergartens branding, but then you focus on the colors that related to older adults. So you will not be able to achieve the target audience needs. Okay, hence it is no more longer to be a kindergarten. Okay, all right. And then the ideation and concept development, also you need to think of where this is the main thing when we want to start to design. Okay, we have to make sure that the brainstorming is there. The processes that we create or we generate, it has to be all it has to be started from scratch. Okay, you cannot suddenly start it on screen. Okay, yes, you may, but there is no development in between. Okay, so you somehow, when you have mind mapping, you have the mind mapping is not only for the design, but it's also looking forward on the first 2 points that I have mentioned over here. That is what I meant by the mind mapping, so that you're able to link whatever ideas that you have sketched or you have looked after in your mood boards. Okay, it can be generated at the end of it in the visual identity. Whatever visual elements that you created and you represent, it has to be included in the brand outlook. Okay, so whatever logos you create, it has to be referred back to the second point, first point, and also the third point over here. Okay, and then finally, before you reach to the final outcomes, you need to make sure that you know who are the competitive analysis, your competitors. That is why before we start, we have to make sure that there is one analysis we have to do, which is the SWOT analysis. We have to look for the strength of the brand. We have to see what are the weaknesses of the brand. We have to also make sure, is there any opportunities that we can go forward? Okay, if let's say we create the brand. And then finally, of course, the threats. The threats is looking after the competitors over here. So this is to make sure that whatever things that you do, you are not only compete to the competitors, but you are competing to yourself. Okay, what I meant by competing to that to yourself is that the brand itself, they are competing to themselves to ensure that at the end of it, when they have create the brand, okay, one building, okay, there's the building going to be flattened down ataupun it is going to be renovated to be something like lagi tinggi. Okay, itu yang kita perlu look after. Okay, kita tak nak when we create the design, the brand, at the end of it, it collapse. Okay, we have to make sure that the brand that we created, we able to compete with the competitors, and at the same time, it is going to be sustained. That is the main thing. Okay, and finally, the objectives and goal, where we clearly define that the outcomes which we have strategized achieve the goals and also the aims of the main reason why we create the branding. Okay, and that is why over here I am sharing with you guys, there is one goals that we may also look after, okay, which is SMART goals. The first one is specifics to the targeted audience and also target market, and then it is able to be measured. It is achievable, meaning that when we create the brand, it is not going to be like at one side the elements that we use, the colors that we use, we got stuck. We don't know how are we going to deliver in other collateral items. Okay, it shouldn't be like that. Okay, and then relevance and also time bound. Okay, now is the implementation of the creative strategies, where there are several pointers that we can look after. And of course, the first one is the collaboration with the creative teams. You have to make sure that whatever collaboration that we have in between, it has to be, I can say, what is the right word? Yeah, it's like you're able to work together. It's like that. Okay. So whatever creativity that you have, you foster the creativity, even though you bring the diverse perspective, okay, to the design process. Each one of us over there in the creative teams able to understand what you propose. You cannot create design and that design is not being able to be understood by the other creative teams. Okay. And then planning and development processes. Effective implementation starts with careful planning. This is the main thing. Whatever plans that you have structured, you have to make sure that it goes by steps. Okay, you have to make sure that you able to see whether this things that you have planned, is it suitable or not. Okay, and then the timeline also, it is going to be one of the resources that we need to see. Okay, because why? If let's say you want to create a TVC, does the TVC needs you to shoot up until 2 months? So it's kind of really ridiculous also, right? Because TVC, it's only conclude up to 30 seconds or 1 minute. So you have to make sure that you'll be able to look after all these kind of things to ensure that it able to allocate all the team members and also the creative teams by collaborating in certain project phases. Okay, so there are three concepts that three steps that involve. Okay, the first one is of course the project kickoff, where you start with initial meetings. Okay, you start with discussing and aligning the objective with your team members. What are the expectation and also how does it going to be delivered? Okay, and then timeline creation, as what I have mentioned here. Okay, you need to make sure that it is going to be strategized. How long is the duration in between, starting from the starting date up until the deadline? Okay, and then finally is the resources allocation. Also, you need to look after on the budgeting, on the tools, okay, softwares, and also finally the goals. Okay, now we are looking on the concept development. When we talk about this, it is understandable that this is one of the crucial phase where we want to create the ideas. It has to be started with research and also planning. If you do not know what are the products, it is quite hard for you to get in depth into the product branding. Okay, so there are 6 processes. Okay, of course, how many of us, okay, the question is that how many of us start with brainstorming? Okay, as when I went to the industry also, it can be seen that only like rough ideas has been created, 1 or 2, and start designing. Okay, it is not like there are some students who came back from industry training, right? They asked me, Miss, you asked me to create brainstorming, you asked me to create sketches, but when I start working, they said they don't need any sketches. Just start on screen, start on screen. Okay, but that one is, yes, but somehow on the screen also, you may now do the brainstorming, ideation, references, you patch, and start to think of whether this ideation and concept can be merged, can be generated into new ideas. That is brainstorming also. It is not that you start sketching on this paper. Okay, now every one of us have tablet, right? The mood boards that we created on your tablets also can be called as brainstorming. Okay, all right. And then mood boards creation, all right, develop mood boards that visually compile inspiration, the references that related to the concept and ideation that you want to do, okay? And then sketching ideas where you start to think of the preliminary design concept, and then you refine the concept where you start to select one of the best out of the best, okay? And then you create storyboards if let's say it is looking for it on the website designs, TVCs, or videography, okay? Any wireframes, okay? So it has to be structured by framing, okay? And finally get feedbacks, okay? So this is where you start to pitch and look after for your stakeholders and also your team members' responses. And then we look after the design execution where we are ensured that whatever concept or creative concept that we create, it can be transformed into tangible outputs. So we have to make sure that we able to choose suitable design tools for that particular outcomes that we created. If let's say we want to create animation, do we need to use Animate? Or we can choose other softwares, okay? Or if let's say we want to do design, okay? Example, illustration. Do we need to use 100% Photoshop or we can go for Procreate? Okay, so whatever tools that is chosen by you, it is basically refer to any conveniences that can be produced for that particular outcomes, okay? And then creating visual assets. These are the elements that we need to remain or sustain for that particular brand. And then developing initial prototypes, also one of the very important thing, especially when it comes to UI UX, okay? And then establishing revision processes, okay, where we can see any developments in between, and then finalizing design or outputs where we can see the final outcomes, how does it looks, okay, attaching the design into the mockup, or you do printing on prototypes and all that, and then preparing for production and delivery when it comes to attaching the corporate looks on any collateral items or packaging or advertising, whether you're able to merge every single ideation that you have created into other collateral items and promotional items. And finally, maintain the clear communication for what you have created, okay, up until the end of the product lah, okay? So that is the main thing. And now we are looking forward on the evaluation of creative strategy, where we need to ensure that whatever evaluation that we do, okay, it is vital, okay, because you have to ensure that it can be measured effectively. And at the end of it, whatever design that you created, it enhance for future design. And also you optimize resources. Okay, you able to justify the investment, and also you able to foster innovation. This is not only for you to have a good look design, but at the end of it, you have to ensure that whatever things that you have created, you able provide those to the audience. Okay, and at the end of it, of course, the sixth stage just now, the objective and goals that you want to achieve. Okay. So there are several criteria that we have to look after. The first one is effectiveness. Whether the things that you have created is effective enough, or is it success? Okay, so you need to assess that, whether the design that you have created meets the intended goals or not. And then the second one is engagement, where you look after the measurable. Okay, how well the target audience interact with the design. Okay, so seperti when we want to create a brand, right? Of course, we want it to be memorized by or memorable by the targeted audience, can. So these are the things that we need to consider. Whether the brand that we have created, is it going to be that stage? Okay, if let's say we talk about food, all right. So we know that fast food, the McDonald's, KFCs, okay, or it is one of the branding that is sustained, okay, well known. Even in Indonesia we have, here in Malaysia also we have, okay. But there are differences that we need to look after. Example, we are assessing the design that has been created, okay, where we know when it comes to the red color fast food chicken, it is referring to KFC, okay. And we know that this has been measured. When it comes to the old man photo, we know that it belongs to KFC, meaning that there's interaction between the brand design and also the targeted audience. Okay, so this is one of the example that we can look after at Asia campaigns. Okay, I am sure the Indonesian also are well aware that Air Asia is their USP is now everyone can fly, right? It is one of the cheapest aviation companies, okay, in the world. Okay, so we can see over here Air Asia, they launched one brand, okay, which is a low-cost airline, okay, with the campaign of now everyone can fly. We can see that there are many affordable traveling people, okay, not only for Malaysian, but also other countries too, okay, where people start to choose Air Asia rather than other aviation companies, okay. And then the strategy over here that they have utilized vibrant visual elements by engaging their advertising and also social media interaction to emphasize the accessibility and also affordability, okay, where they highlight whatever things that is interrelated to the cheap price, okay. And then the outcomes is that the campaign successfully increased brand awareness and contribute to a significant rise in customers booking by establishing Air Asia as a leading player in the low-cost airline sectors in Southeast Asia. So we can see in every countries, when we talk about Air Asia, the booking is quite fast, okay? And they play the game also, right? We know that the price is not sustained. The price is not stick to one price, okay? It somehow can be suddenly raised up, okay? But if let's say we know the game from Air Asia, we able to buy a cheaper price, right? So these are the some of the example from Air Asia, where we can see that over here, okay, it is highlighting free seats with 5 million promo seats. Now everywhere can fly. So people will like try to like get the free seats where we don't know whether we are the one who get the free seats or not. But at the end of it, when we start to order, and at the end, we still need to pay. Okay? We add in foods, we need to pay. We want to add in luggage, we need to pay. If let's say we want to have the hot seat, we have to pay. Okay, so that is the trick that has been played. Okay, and then here, small wins, big happiness. This is also one of the key points that they try to deliver to the targeted audience. So as for the summary, we can see over here, graphic design emphasizes the process of execution. Okay, we know that whatever things that we do, once we have strategized, at the end of it, we need to assess the effectiveness of the design that we have created. So every one of us, we need to make sure that we have to focus on several things such as the alignment of design work, which it has to be achieve the goal, and we have to ensure the creative ideas that we are creating, it has to be able to reach to the audience. And then whatever methods that we use, at the end of it, it is going to be discussed and also get feedbacks on the performance that we have delivered to the audience. And we can see that here, okay, critical relationship between creative strategies, the execution, and also assessment is one of the major things that we need to consider before we proceed with the final outcomes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Well,
Dr. Faiza. Okay,
yeah.
for giving us such an invaluable explanation. Yeah. All right. So next, we're about to listen to Dr. Riky's explanation. So, Dr. Riky, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
All right, then. So probably for the, question and answer or discussion, we're going to have that later, yeah, after your explanation, Dr. Riky. All right, then. So yeah, participants, prepare your questions if you have one. Okay, so Dr. Riky and Dr. Faiza will be answering your questions later, yeah. So Dr. Riky, now it's your turn to explain the topic. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, seems like okay. All right. Thank you very much for the time. So since this is a joining class, I also trying to try to link with the explanation from the Dr. Faiza, which is very, very insightful. And maybe in my turn right now, it's more like into the logo, the how to implement the concept, which was explained from Dr. Faiza, more into the creative process, design and branding process. And then mine would be like more into the how to implement those ideas, and then what sort of challenge in relation to the digital branding these days. And also maybe we can learn from what sort of strategy, what sort of things that we can react, or maybe also creating from this phenomenon as a designer. So yeah, so I start with a logo doesn't sell directly. It identifies very insightful quotes from the notorious Paul Rand. Yeah, he's a designer he's a legend, I would say. And so what we can learn from this is actually a logo. They don't because so many people or even students still think that logo could instantly improve the companies, the sales. It can improve everything suddenly by changing the logo or having a logo. But the aim is not that. Well, don't get me wrong. It's actually related because the point of having a logo is to identify the brand. And if we're talking about brand, we're also talking about we're talking about logo. We're always talking about the brand. So the complexity of the brand or the logo is always about how to giving the projection of the values that we create. Yeah, it can be very physical, relationship, personality, culture, self-image, and so on. So it's about projecting the values. Yeah. Maybe Dr. Faiza also already explained about how to create the values, how to creating the ideas, how to create the uniqueness of the brand, and then the role of the logo itself, and also brand identity is to projecting those values to be able to have a good understanding for the audience. That's the key point of having a logo or brand identity. So if we're going to if we're going deeper about the logo, so how does it start? Like how can we have logo in our lives? Yeah, basically. So it's always related to uh the this one. Yeah, the logo is actually the symbol of something, and it's also part of the identity. And the bigger part is actually the brand. The brand could be like something very abstract, very intangible, I would say. But identity and logo is something that are very tangible, that giving the signal um, about the several messages regarding the brand, yeah, the values inside. Okay, so historically, if we're talking about brand, we're talking about logo. It start with a very humble beginning. The idea was how to create, how to giving a mark of ownership about something. That's the very basic idea, and those idea are still relevant until this day, because branding is a value of something that giving us trust, giving a sense of ownership, giving us the sense of um, uh, for example, like we like several brand or several restaurant, because we trust the chef probably, and then the chef have this brand giving the mark to the brand, so that we can know it's a quality insurance. Yeah, I would say. So that's the idea of what why we have branding, why we have logo. And also term branding is start with this method as well. This method is called branding, to giving the symbol to our, like a cattle, horses, or animals, to telling them that these has the owner. So that's the idea. And then since that, we have the logo, because logo has been used for hundreds of years. So it's coming from the sense of we need to tell the people about the quality. We need to tell people about the makers of this product. And then so by the time they are wanted to have another purchase or repurchase for the brand, they can easily recall, because it's easy to be identified. That's the basic idea of having a logo and having a brand, and also having identity. And it's been using up until now. That's why we still have logo up until now. And then this is what we used to have probably. It's still happening now. We create logo, we create the usually, like, we call it graphic manual or graphic standard manual, things like that. It has so many terms, but the idea is having a standard manual, so then they will use our logo or our identity in the correct manner without any mistake. So this is what we used to have. We're giving the X mark, so people use won't use our logo in the wrong direction. Yeah, so there's so many rules. Yeah, hello, creating logo is like creating rules, but there's some things that change since the digital um emerge. Yeah, graphic design is always about media is always related to the technology, and technology never stop. Technology always involved. They always, it's all about new things each and every days. So we used to have printed media, we used to have television, uh we used to have radio before, and then we have internet, and then now we have AI. So as a designer, we need to adapt. Uh, we need to be aware of what sort of media that we have right now, and then we need to be strategized to be able to survive, and then not just using it without any good consideration. Yeah, so graphic design is mostly about media. Yeah. Okay, so the question would be like, how often do we see logo in social media? Uh, Maybe not that often, yeah. If we relate it to logo, it's always in the product, but in social media, maybe logo or graphic is not something that are very commonly seen, yeah. And also, is the logo is something that the first thing that we notice about the brand. We used to know that the brand is the logo telling us about the brand, and then we know the brand because of the logo. That's how we used to get interact with the brand. But is it still relevant, or is there any change? Yeah, or let's explore. Yeah. So TikTok nowadays is all about videos, sharing stuff, and then crazy things happen there. So it's of course uh, giving us the different direction of how we create brand. Yeah, it's not just about how to create logo, how to create identity. It's more and far beyond that, and then we need to adapt and understand about what's really happening. And also Instagram is all about engagement. Yeah, in digital branding, we know that what is the key factor of a successful the digital branding or social media branding is engagement. It's one of those the key factor to having a good brand. And how often do we see logo? Maybe not much. It's probably showing up in our profile picture, but yes, it's still there. Yeah, but maybe does it really still relevant? Can we identify? Can we judge the brand just by seeing the logo? It's more like the activity inside social media. That's the main difference from that what we used to have in printed media. Okay. And also another challenge would be like the logo is like we overwhelmed with logo. It's everywhere. It's like there is like a very big chance of having a similar logo, a very generic shape, and it's like templates, like all those it it makes the logo less value. Yeah, like it makes the logo less value, and then it's really hard to tell that if still if it's still going like this, it's really hard to identify, yeah, from because the uniqueness is getting less and less because the aim is to having a logo instead of having a good brand. That's the thing, yeah. And also about the AI, yeah, we know that it's been our daily life. We use it almost every day, probably. And this is my sort of like a small experimentation about how can I create myself a logo using AI. And then this is what I get. It's not perfect, but it's there. Yeah. It's not perfect. Maybe the ChatGPT they judging myself from my social media. Yeah, I do like cycling. I do like yeah, says that it's about cycling, it's about academia, graphic design, things like that. They judge me from what they see online. Uh, that's could be the problem because it's that easy to have a symbol, yeah, but what we need is not just a symbol. We need a good and strong brand that really identifies the entity. That's the thing. Yeah, it's not just something that symbolizes the entity. Okay, so I make things easier, and it's also it could be we could miss several parts of the process. Yeah. Okay. So, and also the logo also, this is a fashion brand. Fashion, we know that it should be have the logo is something that most people very proud of. Yeah, they wearing the logo in their shirt because they're proud of having that brand. So and then these days they getting less and less complicated, and it's they pretty much using the same font. Meaning that they are not really focusing on the logo. Instead, they're focusing on the characteristic of the brand. Gucci have that kind of style. Valentino have that, I don't know, like sort of different direction. That's what they are focusing this day probably. Okay. So in the development also we have that what we call a dynamic brand, dynamic logo, dynamic identity. It's not new, but it's something that been developed since we have digital media. Remember, we have a static branding. That logo could not be stretched, they cannot be rotated, cannot be changed the color back then, because what we used to have was a printed media. Yeah, that was the only method to visualize the brand. But this day we have digital media, which the color is unlimited, which the shape is very dynamic. Yeah, so then the idea was like, why don't we have the logo that could change? It could be the antithesis of having a logo. Yeah, like they should not be stretched, they should not be rotated, but now we have some things that the logo that should be rotated, should be changed, and should not be consistent, which is the different dogma, I would say. And that's the phenomena that we face. Yeah, because we have different media, different approach, different playground, so then we can have a different approach of the logo. So yeah, the idea is of dynamic identity is it's not a single consistent shape. That's the key. And then it's changed so many ways. Yeah, it's still having a problem when it's printed. Somehow they also need to print the media, but mostly for a digital brand, for digital interface, this is probably something that the area that we can explore. Yeah, that's the opportunity. And also we have like, this is also dynamic. Yeah, we have Google Doodle, yeah, which is ever changing, never consistent, but still they have something that in common, which is the color and also the name Google. It's no matter the logo is changed or visualized in the different way, it still identifies Google, because Google is the only word that link to the brand basically. So Google can be written in many ways, in many styles, but as long as they are in the same spelling, it's represent the brand. So the key of having a consistent logo is no longer in the shape, but it's in the something else. Could be the brand name, could be the elements of the logo, could be the colors. And then that's what we need when it comes to digital media, when it comes to social media, because the interface and the area of having identity is not just in a single platform. It's always changing. It's always dynamic, and then we need some things that not in a static form. Yeah, I think Google has been successfully adapting into digital worlds. Of course, it is a technological company. That's why they are need to fits the characteristic of the brand and the audience itself. But we can learn so much from it. And then, yeah, and it's always fun. Yeah, having a changing logo every day. It's always fun. So the evolution of logo, it can be identified into three different, like a scheme. Yeah, we used to have like hypotaxis before. So as a logo, it's from a single identity, and then it goes to the stationery, it goes to the pencil, it goes to the vehicle, the advertisement everywhere. So it's like a triangular shape. Yeah. But in praxis or meta-axis, it's more like a fluid. Yeah. We might be not knowing about TikTok. We know TikTok probably, but we don't know the logo, for example. We're not really seeing the logo, or we don't care about the logo, but we are very familiar with the identity of the products. Yeah. Or we don't really care about the Netflix, but we know Netflix, it has some sort of vibes. Yeah, it has, and it can be entered in so many gateway. Yeah, so it's about access. How can we get knowing the brand? That's the entry point. Yeah, it's more more fluid. Meta-axis is also from different direction, but it's like a less fluid than the para-axis. Sorry. So to be more clear, yeah, this one is the hypothesis, which is consistent. It's all about consistency. It's all about similarities. It's all about the logo should be look like that, shape like that, same color, never change, consistent, easy to be recognized. But it's always relevant to some things that maybe less digital company or digital product, because they are usually printed or put in airplanes or everywhere. More traditional approach. Yeah. Instead of this one, we can use like maybe pattern. We can use like a illustration, anything like that. Never changing, unlimited possibilities, but it has to be a one single consistency that easier for us to understand about the brand. Yeah, this is the scheme, and this is the meta. Yeah, probably pretty much look like the first one, but it's more fluid. Yeah, less fluid than the blue one, but they are much more flexible. Yeah, but it's also in printed medias. Yeah. So back to the question, why logo are still relevant? Yeah. Still, we need to, in several cases, we still need to, it's something that has to be printed like a shirt advertisement in a football jersey, for example. It cannot be moved around unless they will disturbing the players whilst they are playing the game. But it has to be there. It has to be printed, and that's the best they can do. But in the field, if you're aware, I think also in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in every league or matches, they have like a LED screen. Yeah, in the surrounded the field, and then it's something that we can explore. Yeah, meaning that it's not just a static symbol. It's we can explore more. Yeah, we can explore the possibilities of having a LED screen, meaning that it can be fluid, it can be dynamic, and that's our opportunity. And also, maybe regarding the sport as well, Formula One, the most expensive billboard in the world, and very fast billboard in the world as well. They can only put logos there, and it's very expensive as well. Yeah, but the effectiveness is still high. Yeah, we can be very good engagement, good exposure just by putting our logo in a car, for example. And logo is also about the icon, yeah, and the pop icon. Logo is still something that we see every day, yeah. It's still an icon. Probably you can judge what logo are they, even though we are removing the font or minimizing the shape, but we can still tell what brand are they, and it's showing us the power of logo, and it's in our mind, so it's part of the culture, it's part of our life. We're very used to seeing logo. That's some things that we can deny, and then it's still there. Yeah, we cannot erase logo. It's part of our life, it's part of our cultures as well. And also, if you find this funny, probably because we are also have a good memories about logo, and then it's also an icon, we can make fun with it, so that's why it's still relevant. Yeah. So what we can learn from this, yeah, logo today are maybe more than just a symbol or business or organization. They are in pop culture and woven into our daily lives. Yeah, regardless how media involves, logo are endured, even if we don't encounter them as frequently as before. And then maybe I'll try to highlight about because most of my student, or maybe the client that I'm working with, they usually think that designing a brand is designing a logo, which is not 100% correct, because yes, logo is something that we design once we are designing a brand, but far beyond that, we need to designing the brand, and then logo is something that not a compulsory these days. Yeah, because we are focusing on the values, the characteristic, and then the identity can be goes to the UI UX, or the interface, or the characteristic of something instead of a symbol. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to highlight with this class today. Try to focusing on the characteristic instead of the visual. Yeah, that's probably the base. That's probably my message for today. So that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Riky.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So does it mean that logo holds an important aspect in our life, Pak?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
our daily life, but the shape, the color, and the method has changed due to the media. That's what I'm trying to highlight it.
Thank you very much for the insightful
My
explanation,
pleasure.
Pak Riky. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, then. So students, yeah, if you have questions or something to discuss, please, it's your time to deliver your questions and to discuss with Dr. Riky and also Dr. Faiza. Anyone? Or, yeah, you can leave or drop the questions on the chat box of Zoom. Students from UITM or TELU students, you may leave your questions or drop your questions on the chat box of Zoom, or you can directly ask by, yeah, what is it? Speaking or asking directly to the speakers. Any questions? Or probably Dr. Faiza and Dr. Riky will ask some questions to students related to material. Hello, students. Any questions? Or probably you can share or exchange idea ya, Pak ya? Okay. So we've got one, Pak, from Nurin Shafira. Hi, Nurin. How's your day? Hello, Nurin. Will you ask question directly to Dr. Faiza and Dr. Riky? If you don't, hi, if you don't mind, kindly please ask directly to our two speakers, yeah?
Okay.
All right,
Uh,
so, okay. So to whom? Would you like to ask a question first? To Pak Riky or to Miss Faiza? To both of them?
yes.
All right then, please.
What is the factor that you consider when deciding the best placement for logo across different media?
Across different media such as printed media and also online media or digital media probably, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Nurin.
Thank
Such an
you.
awesome question. All right, so who's going to answer the question first? Probably Dr. Faiza first, yeah?
Okay, thank you, Bu Astri. Thank you
Yeah.
juga, Nurin. Okay, talking about what factors do you consider when deciding the best placement for a logo across different media? Okay, when we talk about logo and media, ini agak rumit ya. Kalau mau dibincangkan atau dibahaskan, okay. Again, we are looking for what kind of media that you are focusing. Okay, such as if let's say we are talking about website. Okay, again we have to look on the framing, design framing. Okay, when you start designing, you have already structured where is the button, where is the search button, and all that. So all the informations needed, it has been strategized. Okay, so again, it is basically preferable to be on the first page on top rather than at the bottom, because people will start to scroll. Okay, so to introduce the brand first, it is much more preferable instead of you let the people start to question about the brand. Okay, however, when it comes to the printed, it is okay to be anywhere, right? But not on the right side. Ini my pendapat ya, Dr. Ricky. Okay. Alright. So because when on the right side, what we see normally is that, especially when it comes on envelope, okay, normally on the right hand side, we put stamp or any governmental stamp, okay, on the right hand side. So it has been overlapped with the logo design. So it is preferable to be rather on the left hand side or the back of the envelope. But it has to be consistent when it comes to the corporate look. So where it has to be, it should be on the other collateral items too. That is my point of view lah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Faiza. Wow. Yeah, I do agree, yeah. When we scroll down, so it should be, what is it, in the top and also in the bottom probably, yeah, Dr. Faiza. All right. Okay, thank you. What about Dr. Ricky? Dr. Ricky, will you add some?
Yes, probably this is very very technical, yeah. But what we need to understand about this matter would be like, I always emphasize my student would be like to understand the content and context, meaning that the content, meaning that we are understand what we're trying to say, what sort of information that we have, and the context would be like what sort of circumstance which people we are trying to speak to, and also the media itself. Yeah, of course the eye level or eye perspective are the best. Yeah, but sometimes that's in some cases we also need to understand the content and context as well. Context means that if the in what sort of what's inside their head when they're looking the logo. That could be giving a certain impressive and certain that related to the content and context itself. So it's really hard to standardize this is best or not. But what I can say is to understand the content and context, because it may different, it may vary in any different situation. But by understanding content and context, we can understand, we can be more strategized what sort of placement or what we say, including the font or including the logo, how big the logo, what sort of colors, that should be helping us to determine which strategy that we can approach. That's probably the best I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Dr. Riky. So
Uh-huh.
content and context for the logo, yeah? Okay, so people will remember the logo. Okay, all right. So Nurin, any idea or anything that you want to share, or are you satisfied with the answer, Nurin? I believe so.
Yes, I satisfied.
Yes. All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nurin. Thank you. Next, Pak, and Dr. Faiza. We've got one, or actually some other questions from students. Yeah. Zaki. Hi, Zaki.
Hello.
Hello. Could you please turn on the cam and also ask directly your questions?
Unfortunately, I'm in a public transportation, so I
Oh,
don't
all
think I
right,
can
then.
open the camera, but I can
Okay.
ask the question directly.
All right, then.
So my question is, how can you tell that a logo is good from a customer's or client perspective, since sometimes there are a disconnect between the client and designer? Thank you.
Oh, sometimes. Oh, okay, then. All right. So, Dr. Faiza, do you have any idea or any, comment on this?
Okay. Talking about perspective, it is very subjective. Okay, whether I accept the idea that he or she gave in or not, it is me. Okay, but being a designer, one thing that we need to ensure that justification, why the color should be that, why the element should be used, and this element to the B element, A element and B element, why we select that element, and why do we merge the element, and why we do not make the font smaller, or why do we not choose the font, the sans serif font instead of serif font. It has to be all justified. Okay, so you need to understand whatever things that you have selected, there are justification to support, to ensure that your client understand the needs of it. Yes, somehow the final one that we have designed, it is not going to be chosen by the client. Okay, they have their own perceptions, but yet if let's say you're able to counter back what they want or they say or their ideas, you may win. Okay, that is the main thing that you need to understand. Being a designer, it is also come to be a researcher. That you have to bear in mind that one lah. Okay, we are not only do design, we are not only visually applied, but we have to make sure that we somehow able to justify and clarify why it is chosen. And that is why me myself, if let's say we do any design, we are going to share it to the targeted audience, whether this kind of design that we have created, is it suitable, or they can understand whatever things that we try to deliver, okay, to them. Okay, thank you, Ms. Atri.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Faiza. All right, so being designer is being researchers, yeah? So probably Zaki, yeah, you have to be a researcher, yeah, to meet and to know the best logo for your client, yeah? All right, then. Thank you, Dr. Faiza. What about Dr. Riky? So will you add some?
Okay, maybe just a little bit. It has been clear explanation from Dr. Faiza. But what I'm trying to add more is more like sometimes it's like a very it's common, yeah. I've been designing over like maybe hundreds of logo, and none of them are some things that I probably really like, or some things that it's always happen, yeah. Being a designer is about how to be less how be how to see perspective from not just ourselves, but from many perspective. It is from the client itself, from the audience, and then being a designer has to have that vision of what they like, what the clients like, and then we need to bridge. I do agree what Dr. Faiza said, because being a designer has to be a good designer, because we need to stand on the data. We need to stand on the rational justification or evidence that we have, so then we can argue with the client. So it's not about personal preference. It's about the data or fact that speaking. It's always been about that. Yeah.
All right. So, in your opinion, being a good designer is how to see perspective from different sides, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it something like that, Pak?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, then. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Riky and Dr. Faiza. So let's move on to another question. So we've got like two more questions from Umaira and Kenzie. Hello, Umaira.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, could you please ask directly to our two
Okay.
excellent speakers here? All right, then.
Okay, so my question is, can you elaborate on how the choice of colors and symbols enhances a logo's power to connect with the target audience or like the audience in general?
Right, thank you, Umaira. So who's going to answer this question first? Dr. Riky or Dr. Faiza? Probably Dr. Riky first,
Okay.
yeah?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good question. I think colors is one of those elements, yeah, in logo or design. Sometimes we get mistaken by asking directly to the audience what sort of color they want. But being a designer, we have to see from from our perspective about the audience. We need to understand without even maybe they don't realize that these color are something that they like. We need to get that insight from so many ways, yeah, so many methods that we can get those information, maybe from observation, maybe from yeah, observation would be something that very, or mapping or survey. Then we can see what sort of colors they like, what sort of music they listen into, what sort of product are in trend right now. Yeah, what sort of like color trend, something like that. It can help us to determine what sort of colors are suit for them. Yeah, but the point is we need to see it from a designer perspective, not by asking them what sort of colors you like, because that could be a very because audience, they don't have ability to express what they want, because probably they don't know what they want. It is our job as a designer to tell them that this is what they want, this is what you need, this is that's why you need to buy this product, that's why you need to, things like that. Yeah, we offer them, and then they either choose, they like it or not, don't like it. That's their preferences. But the thing is, we need to figure it out in our perspective. That's probably the best way. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Back again to Dr. Faiza's explanation. Yeah, being a good designer is being a good researchers. Yeah, Pak?
Yes.
So we're going to research, do research. Okay,
course.
what color they like. Okay, about fashion and yeah, do mapping and yeah, the color trend. Okay, wow. Okay, brilliant. Dr. Faiza, will you add some?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I echo what Dr. Riky mentioned just now. We have to figure out our own perspective first, okay, and then be able to justify back to the targeted audience. And that is why, from the previous questions that has been asked, I did also mention about you need to justify and clarify. Hence, you need to make sure that you know who are the targeted audience. When you know the targeted audience, so you can understand, okay, this kind of people, they like what kind of color. If let's say you want to focus on people who are high income, okay, probably those people who are in high income also, they have several kind of attitudes and characters. Sometimes they are into luxury items. So these people who are in luxury items, their interest in color also kind of different than people who are much more simpler. And the design also, it is much more different. The approach also much more different. You have also to look after what genre that they look after. That is the main thing. Hence, every single things that you choose, waima benda tu adalah color or whatsoever, it has to be able to justify to the clients. That is the main thing. So come out with your own ideas, see, do research on it, and finally you justify to your clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Faiza. So, yeah, if I can conclude, justifying, clarifying, and knowing targeted audience, yeah, Dr. Faiza. Okay. Yeah, all right. So, next, I think it will be the last questions from Kenzie. Hello, Kenzie Biril Walidain. Hi, Kenzie. Hi,
Hello.
Kenzie. Oh, okay then.
Hello,
Kenzie,
Maya.
yeah, could you please, ask directly to speakers about your questions?
Yes. So I would like to ask, so there's many logo for many brand, right? So in general, for a brand, is it better for them to have like a more complex logo with more pictures and colors, compared to having like a simpler logo in general?
Dr. Ricky,
Okay.
any ideas? All right.
Yes.
Complex
maybe.
logo with more
Okay.
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe these days minimalism is one of the trend. Yeah. Maybe not really new, but it's been around for like maybe over 10 or 20 years. That the simplest logo are the better. Yeah. And then people are going to that direction. People are more liking into the minimalist logo, the very simple one, less complicated. But somehow, somewhere, maybe the complex logo could be the concept as well, because in my perspective, minimalist is not the aim, it's not the goal to having a minimalist logo. Minimalism is the method to achieve the concept. So it is the method, this is the way on how we visualize the logo. So the first thing that we have to understand is the concept. Yeah, again. So what sort of message that we're trying to say, what sort of audience that we're trying to speak to, and then what sort of concept that we have. So probably the some product they have to have the simplest logo because the product is already complex, or probably the product is already expressing the technology or the feature that they have. For example, like TV, they cannot have a very complex logo just by the small space that they have beneath that. So it's more like a function as well. But some, as I explained before, the dynamic identity, the dynamic logo, they can be that complex. It can be that complicated because the entity or the company is that complex. They cannot be simplified, or it has to be it has to be that it has to have that complexity. So it depends on the concept, depend on the concept, and in the language that we're trying to project. That's probably what we can start with. Yeah. So again, minimalist is not the aim. It is the method that we can use or we cannot use. Yeah, depend on the audience as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Faiza, will you add some of this question? Simpler logo and more complex logo.
Okay. For me, I can say that there are advantages and also disadvantages for this. So you may select minimalist logo and you may also select complex logo. Again, what is the aim of it? What is the product? So you need to refer to that too. Because to have, as we know lah, okay, to look after minimalist logo, the first aim is that we know that it is the main advantage is that simpler logo, it is memorable. So do we want it to be easily to be memorized or not? And then versatility also is one of the key points that we need to look after also. However, the scaling and all that is one of the key point or advantages for the minimalist logo. But when we talk about complex logo, you may also design a complex logo if the direction is there. Okay, if you want to tell people about the brand, okay, you want to include I can say more artistic value into the logo. So you may include the thing inside the logo. And you may also include storytelling in the complex logo about one or two brand. Example, okay, if let's say you want to focus on a Javanese kind of brand, okay, we know that Javanese, they have a lot of characteristic. So Java is not only in Indonesia, but yet in Malaysia also we have Java, right? So in Malaysia's Javanese, they have a certain characteristic that might not be similar as in Indonesia. So we need to make sure that the storytelling is there so that we able to understand that this brand is focusing on Malaysian Javanese or Indonesian Javanese. So it can be. It is not a sin for you to have a complex logo, and it is not also a sin for you to have a minimalist logo. So back then you have to refer back to what are the products that you want to produce. That is the main thing. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Such a brilliant answer. Thank you, Dr. Faiza and Dr. Riky. Next, we still have some questions. Do we still have time, Dr. Riky and Dr. Faiza? Yes?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So Nick, hi Nick from UITM. Hello, Nick. Are you available to ask directly the lecturers here? Hello, Nick from UITM.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Nick. So yeah, if you're available to ask directly to Dr. Faiza and Dr. Riky, yeah, please say your questions.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nick from UITM. Question is, in your opinion, what is the most important element in logo design to attract more audience attention, like typography, color, shape, or icon?
All right, Dr. Riky, could you please
Okay.
answer? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, it depends, yeah. What sort of again context? What sort of yes, every typography has a chance to have a better attraction. So does color, shape, and icon. But if I can choose, what is the most important element in logo? It's not the visual. It's actually the brand name, because it can be transferred just by saying it. And I would say the most fundamental or the strongest brand identity in the brand is the brand name. And it's getting hard to have a strong brand name these days because most of them are already taken. and it's that's the common problem. But yes, typography can be very have a good chance, meaning that to to enhance the brand name, we can use a strong typography as well, a strong color combination, not just color combination. For example, like IKEA, we can see from the distance with blue and yellow, and it's very Swedish, and it's very distinctive because just by the color, we don't really care about the typography, but it's very strong identity. Shape, of course, icons. Shape, for example, like maybe we have a product with for example, batik or something like that. It has a certain shape that we need to represent. That could be one of those way, yeah, or icon, for example, like maybe we have fashion like Lacoste with a very cute crocodile in the shirt, very small. There is no words there, but it's very iconic, and it's a pay so much attention, even though it's small, yeah. but so it's about the strategy. It's about how we utilize all those resources. But I would say brand name is the strongest resource that we can. Sometimes we don't really pay attention about the brand name, but it's that strong to have a strong brand name instead of just a graphic. Probably that's from me. Thank you.
Okay, wow, good. Okay, thank you, Dr. Riky. Dr. Faiza, do you have any comment
Thank you.
about this? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Welcome. Yeah.
If thank you. I somehow agree with what Dr. Riky said, brand name. Without brand name, people will not be able to pronounce it. So whether it is brand A, brand B, or brand C, right? But if let's say we arrange or we list out the elements that we need to concentrate on, the first thing that I think the hierarchy goes for the color. Yes, again, color represent the brand name. As what mentioned, IKEA, from far we know it's blue and yellow. McDonald's, we know it's red and yellow. Subway, green and yellow. Everything is related to color. People don't read yet, but they see the color, they have already know what is it, right? And then secondly, it goes for the shaped. From far, we know that the shell shape belongs to shell. We able to recognize the shape. And then goes for the icons. Okay, what are the things included in the shapes? Okay, whether there are letter M in the shapes, in the square shapes. So it's back to that. Okay, color, shapes, and icon. And finally, the typography. Somehow, without typo, people will recognize the thing with only to see the color, with only to see the shapes, and finally the icons that has been applied. That is from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the
Thank you,
brand
Dr. Faiza.
name. Yeah, thank you also to Nick, yeah? All right. Okay, so we've still got one questions from Haikal Najmi, also from UITM. Hello, Haikal.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right.
Haikal,
Yeah.
please
All right.
ask directly to the lecturers.
Okay. Hello, my name is Haikal. So I'm from UITM. I want to ask, like, how can brands keep the emotional and connections established through the logos to remain relevant and trusted towards the customer, especially in a constantly evolving global marketplace?
Mm-hmm. So who is going to answer this question first? Dr. Faiza, probably.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Haikal. Thank you, Bu Astri juga. Okay. To keep the emotional and connection established through their logo. Okay, in order to sustain those and to remain the relevancies and trust towards the customer, I think the first things that you have to consider is that stay true. Okay, stay true to the core identity, meaning that you do not change the identity. The colors that you use, suddenly green, it becomes turquoise. Okay, so people will not be able to recognize the thing. And it, so that we able to reinforce the color, the brand values lah. Okay, to able to continually communicate about the brands, etc. And then we able to also modernize, okay, the brand also. Okay, so basically when you want to make sure that people connect with the logo, okay, I think the main thing is that you need to align with the customer's value lah, to be sensitive, cultural sensitive, and then you able to sustain, reflect to whatever practices that has been applied in designing, and then you able to use the branding or the look of it, okay, in order to reflect to the brand's mission. I think that is the main thing that you need to consider before you look forward on the global marketplace. That is the main thing. Without building the trust among the customers, you will not be able to move forward to the global marketplace. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. All right, so Dr. Ricky, will you add some about
Okay,
gain customers? Yeah.
yes. Yeah, emotional branding is one of those tools to get engaged with our audience, yeah, basically. But emotional branding connection is a very complex subject, I would say, because we cannot judging by the logo. It doesn't mean you like the logo, you like the brand, and you're everything about it. I don't think. In some cases, like I'm reflecting myself, I like certain product, but I hate the logo so much. It could happen. I mean, like, it's probably because we have those connection with the brand. Either we like it or we hate it so much. It's not just because we like the graphic. It's about the product itself, the services, and it's also part of the branding. So it's a very complex subject. We cannot judge by the visual. Yes, visual could help because it's something that firstly we seeing, or it's easy. It's very easy for us to recognize or stay connected with the brand. But yeah, it's very complex. And just by looking at the logo and then we like it, or probably we could like the logo over time just because we like the product, or vice versa. We like the logo and then we like the product. It could be those direction. But the thing is, maybe the keyword would be relevant. Yeah, how to be relevant. Liking the logo or liking the identity or liking the product is the best starting point to to have a good connection with the brand, meaning that some things that we trust so much or we like it so much, probably because of the relevancies. Yeah. Again, we cannot create a brand or we create a product that everyone's love. That's why we have what you call segmentation, because we have to be focused on a certain group of people, and then we have to analyze those people, what they like, and try to be relevant and use that tools to be relevant. Yeah. And regarding the involving global market, yes, but if we're talking about global market, it's also a global preferences, I would say. Since we are connecting, the world are connected, we probably in a different country, but we are consuming the same YouTube videos or TikTok's videos, meaning that we are set into a standard what we call aesthetic or something like that, because it's very global, meaning that in this case, in today's phenomenon, could be the global brand could have a chance to have a global, can be more global, because our standard of aesthetic could be the same, yeah, regardless where we from or where we at, because we are seeing the same product, same content every day, and we probably don't have to know each other, but we can be related because we say in the same YouTuber or something like that. I don't know. It's not scientifically proven yet, but my suggestion would be some things that maybe have a big contribution about that. That's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Riky. So if I can conclude, so creating a logo is not that easy thing to do, yeah? All right, then. Especially if we want to create such an emotional, emotional things, yeah, to attract audience, yeah? Okay, all
And
right.
can I add one more point?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Sure.
when we talk about this emotional and connection established, right? Sometimes when we do trust the brand already, but when they start to rebrand, the trust is like getting farther, because the aesthetic value that we have earlier, it's suddenly faded. Okay, we can see like example like especially restaurant. We go there every single day. All right. We were like looking forward on the taste. But when it comes to rebranding, they have already getting a higher standard kind of brand already. Dari warung terus ke restoran. Jadi rasanya juga berbeda kan. Langsung terus berubah gitu. So this is also relates to the emotion and also connection established that we look after. So it doesn't mean that when it comes to the logo, we can have the same emotion and also connection between the brand and also the target audience. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Faiza. All right, so yeah, Dr. Faiza, Dr. Riky, and students, I think that will be the end of our discussion, yeah? For today's design class. Okay, so yeah, before we end this online joint class for session 1, let's have a photo session together, everyone. So please turn your camera on because we're about to have a photo session. All right, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Fikri, for opening the cam, Alisa as well, and Hanif, and students. Okay, let's have a photo session. So I will ask you to open your cam, your video, to have a photo session together with us together with two excellent speakers here, Dr. Faiza and Dr. Riky. So Raihan, thank you. Nail as well, Kenzie. All right. Other students, I'm going to wait for a couple of seconds, not in a minute. All right, Fidel also. Thank you for opening the cam. All right. So if you're ready for a photo session, just turn your video on. Yeah. Queena, Octaviana, Rani, and Sajida. Thank you. Well done. All right. Hilman also. Thank you for opening the cam. So, yeah. So let's begin our photo session, yeah? So, wait a minute. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, smile. All right. So one more time. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, so for attending this online joint class. It's such an interesting and interactive discussion, I believe so, yeah, Pak Riky and Miss Faiza for today's online joint class. So if you would like to join the other session, which is the session 2 of design class, today will be at 14, I mean, for 2 p.m. Indonesian time or 2 p.m. Malaysian time, yeah. Okay. Or 3 p.m. in Malaysia, yeah. All right. So, yeah. I think that's all for today. But before I end this meeting, I would like to share the feedback link. So kindly wait, everyone. Okay. Hold on, please. I am about to share you the feedback link. So filling out this feedback is also one of the requirements to get the e-certificate for today's online joint class, yeah? So here is the link. So remain on this Zoom and clicking the link first so that you can give us a feedback for further improvement, of our next program. All right. So I'll give you some time to to fill out the feedback. Yeah. Have you received the feedback? Yes, I believe so. All right. So I think for Dr. Riky and Dr. Faiza, thank you very much. If you have another agenda, yeah, you may leave this Zoom. Thank you very much once again for a brilliant and invaluable insight for students. Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you and welcome to everyone for asking the questions and also Bu Astri, Dr. Riky juga ya pada sharing.
Dr. Faiza, terima kasih.
Terima kasih kembali Dr. Faiza, Dr. Riky juga. Yeah, students. Yeah, remember to click the feedback link, and then fill out some questions there. Okay, if you have done filling out the feedback, you may leave this Zoom. And then we'll be meeting again on the next session, session 2, later at 2 p.m. Indonesian.
Astri.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you have done with the feedback, you may leave this Zoom, students. So here, I think I bid you a goodbye, yeah? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sajida.
Thanks ya Bu Astri.
Sama-sama, Dr. Faiza. Nanti kita bertemu lagi mungkin ya Dok di jam 2
Jam 2.
ya
Ya.
dengan Miss Flo juga.
Okay.
Ya,
Right. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, boys and girls. Bye.
Thank you.
Ya, thank you Nurin.